Good morning. How are you guys? Stephanie Pierre, aka Siren Creatrix, coming at you on a Thursday morning. Okay, so spooky fucking shit, yo. Spooky shit. Spooky shit has been happening in the STARDISCO house. Some of it in the Mars Moxie container. I'm not going to go into it because, you know, like fucking full-blown witch shit, man. Like, whoa, I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed with these witches in there. And it's just like, I love it. I mean, like, who doesn't love, like, you know, it's Halloween season, Scorpio season, with an eclipse on top of it, with Venus on the South Node, all fucking witchy, like, and what I mean by witchy is like, you know, spiritual, like where the veils are thin, where it is undeniable that there is so much more beyond the physical eye, meaning there's so much more beyond, you know, what you think and what you think is possible. And so I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm getting all of the chill bumps. I'm just loving it. I'm really loving that container. And I'm so grateful that, you know, I've been on this journey and I've gotten to where I'm living my dream right now. I'm living my dream. I'm literally things that I have been dreaming about and writing about and working so hard for have manifested in like ways beyond, you know, it's really, I'm so grateful and it's so beautiful. And yeah, so some spooky shit has been happening, but then so here's the thing that another thing that I actually can like share more of the details about. So for any of you guys that you've been following me, you know, for any length of time, and especially on the eclipses, which, by the way, if you don't know, we are in eclipse season. Eclipses happen 2 times a year, and they're where the sun and the moon, where we have the full moon, the new moon, and the full moon on the nodes. The nodes are actually, they're not even a physical planetary object, they're a point. Where it's on the ecliptic, where the path of the Earth around the sun meet. Okay, so and I've done a whole video on that, which I will link here in the comments if you want to know more about the eclipses, because they're destiny portals essentially. And the North Node is known as the dragon's head, Rahu. The South Node is known as Ketu, the dragon's tail. I've actually written a song all about this. If you guys are familiar, you know my song Python. If you listen to the words and the hook of that song, I talk about riding the dragon. And actually, this is something that I'm going to be going deeper into inside of the Venus Cosmic Beauty Bar. I'm going to be, because this is a free series of events where I am showing you how, as an artist, so many of your creations and the unfoldments of your creativity, your eros, love and beauty corresponds to Venus. And, you know, this is something that I have been tracking and working with personally myself as an artist, as a singer, as a creator, and working with those cycles to fully express myself. And it's amazing. And so I'll be sharing more specifically about the myth of Venus and how you can use that yourself for your personal self-expression and bringing, like, fully unleashing your erotic and artistic gifts onto the world. So, you know, so that song I wrote is about that. It's about the dragon ride. And so if you've been following me for any length of time, you may have remembered that I got hit by a car on my bicycle during one of the eclipses, 2 or 3 eclipses ago. And since that point, there has been, so things that happen during eclipses, because there's a rip in the fabric of time, literally ripple out over lifetimes. It initiates and or can powerfully resolve a pattern, a cycle of energy. So I was hit by a car on my bicycle, and then at the next eclipse, my bicycle was stolen. And for me, I saw that as, because remember, it's setting something in motion. So by having my bicycle stolen, I was seeing that as it was something that was preventing more harm. Because, I ride my bicycle everywhere. I love my bike. I walk and ride my bike everywhere. I love it. I'm sweating all the time. I'm exercising. It's how I choose to live my life. Anyway, so the next eclipse, my bike was stolen, and now this bike, and now during this eclipse window, I was walking down the street from my walking, blah, 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 and on the side of the road, just laying there, what do you think I see? My bike. The same bike, just laying there. So I'm like, what? And I remember, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my bike. Like, what the fuck? This is my bike. And I'm looking around like, is anybody here? And I just hang out there for a while. I had some coffee, so I'm like hanging out, just like out in nature, nobody's around. It's just laying there in the middle of, like, on the street, like on the sidewalk. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like literally, like somebody just said, oh, let me just leave the bike here on the side of the road. So I get on the bike and I ride my ass home. It was literally like when it's like somebody had like the ocean, right? Like imagine like the waves of the ocean, bringing the bike into the ocean and then it getting like spit back out like from the very, very depths. That's exactly how it feels. So I'm telling you, man, some fucking spooky shit is happening. So yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. Hey, when you get on, say hello. Yeah, so I got my bike back, guys. Like, and it all happened on these eclipses. So last thing that I want to share with you guys, something that, I have been seeing and been aware of in my community, and just like, cause I know, right? Like, so right now Venus is on the South Node, and Venus, is all about the heart and relationships. And so when Venus is on the South Node, and especially in Scorpio, it really asks us to let go. It's about detachment. It's about letting go. And so a lot of people may be experiencing feelings of like not having enough love, feeling like there isn't enough love, they're not having enough sex, there isn't enough intimacy, and especially because it's on the South Node, there's a lot of letting go. And this also is not just about just like letting go of relationships, but it's also about letting go of the past pains and the past betrayals that we experience, the heartache, the scar tissue that builds up around our heart anytime, that we've experienced wounding and loss and pain. So it's a tough time for a lot of people, and from somebody who I actually have this placement. It's not exact, like meaning my Venus is not on the South Node, but I have a Scorpio stellium, I have the South Node in Scorpio, and I have Venus in Scorpio. So this is something that this is my life. It is literally the story of my life. I've been living this for lifetimes, not just this life, but lifetimes. These are things that, like that when you're learning something and and it doesn't feel like you're learning something. It's this sense of I'm remembering it, like I've done this for lifetimes. Like that's what I've been experiencing so much with these illumination sessions and with the light body activations that I've been doing, is I'm doing them and I'm like, I already know how to do this. I've been doing this for lifetimes. It's priestess work. And so it's just been really incredible. I've been having the most amazing experiences with these illumination sessions where, you know, just doing them and then wielding them into my own magic. Like I'm saying, like this is like I'm doing them and it's just like, you know, it's such a reminder that you too have these gifts, right? And that's what this work actually is doing, is it's helping you to remember your gifts. The things that you've been doing for lifetimes that you don't even have to learn. It's really just remembering them. Waking up, remembering, you know, remembering your beauty, remembering your gifts. So, all right, let me end this because I've been really enjoying that. I've been keeping these short and sweet, and I know today I've been a little bit all over the place, not as focused with my message, but here's my message, because I actually do have a message for you. Other than the spooky stuff and just kind of catching up a little bit with you about what's happening in my world, which, by the way, the price has gone up on the illumination sessions. There is a wait list, so I will be doing more of these in combination with light body activations and archetypal light body activations. So if that's something that you are interested in, reach out to me so that you can get on the wait list. The price will be going up again. But if you want to get it on before the price does go up on again, you want to get on the wait list, reach out to me. I highly recommend a series of 3. The results that people are getting on the series of 3 is just, it's exponential. It's no different than when it's like you do one session and then it's like, oh, this next session is just building upon the next one. No, it's an exponential building on. It's like the higher that you get because you're compounding that much more. So I highly recommend doing a series of 3. So, all right, here's the message. Huntress energy saved my marriage. And this is tying into Scorpio. You know, Scorpio energy, it's ruled by Mars. There's a lot of masculine Martian energy that Huntress archetypally runs. For those of you who are not familiar with Huntress, you know, this is the wild woman. This is the woman that's, you know, she's very connected to her body, very connected to the physicality of her body, to nature, to the drive, to the ambition, to the hunt, you know, to Huntress. It's a very athletic archetype. And you wouldn't think that, you know, when we think of relationships and we think of love, we think of Venus, right? But for me, Huntress energy actually is what saved my marriage and my family, because I was willing to fight for it. The things that I have been through in my romantic relationship, so many things I'm not proud of, things that would shock you, that would shudder, that would make you shudder, that would just atrocious things, horrible things, things that I've come to forgive myself so deeply. So, but I changed them. I transformed them into now I'm the happiest that I've been in my entire life in my relationship. People that knew me and where I've been, I mean, are in awe of what the power of your love can do. Where, you know, there's music and harmony. I mean, the fact that there's music, every single person in my family now plays an instrument and sings. And I mean, yesterday I had the great fortune of one of my daughter's little friends came over the house. And I was standing up on a chair and singing and dancing and playing my songs that I've recorded on the that are not on the radio, they're on all the other major music platforms. But I mean, this is something that's happening in my house all the time. So going from having just all of just crazy drama and violence and anger and just not good scenarios to now where my husband and I play music together and my daughters are playing music and it's just pouring out of us. Harmony, a symbol of the harmony, that is now in our life as a family is just beyond. But I had to be willing to fight for the justice. And what I mean for knowing, like, when you see someone and them not being who they really are, like, I will fight. I will stand in the fire and burn with you. I will bleed with you to do the justice of your soul. And I had to be willing to do that for myself, to be able to go and to fight and to, in the depths of hell, like, roar in the depths of hell like a mad woman for my love, for my life, and to be willing to fight at that level and that degree for what I felt was, like I said, the justice of my soul and for the souls of my children and for the souls of my man, of like how this was just not our truth. And it took a lot of fucking will and and a lot of to be just detached and to be willing to go in like a huntress and to hunt down the shadows of the ego and of, the feminine ego, the pain of the feminine ego body, the pride of the feminine ego body, and to hunt that down and to alchemize it and to love the shit out of it. And had it not been for that conviction and that determination and that knowing and the detachment as well, is like, it would not have been possible. You have to be willing to fight for it. And this is like where it's the paradox, where it's like we think about, like, in fighting, it's like you want to stop the fighting, but it's like, what are you fighting for? Knowing what's willing to fight, what is worth fighting for. And if it's worth fighting for, then you can do the impossible. So, what am I really wanting to say here? It was this energy that saved my marriage and saved my family. And if I can do it, anyone can. Anyone can. And anyone can. But you have to want it. You have to want it like a fucking mad woman. Like a woman giving birth to a child. Where this is the only option. There are no other options. This is it. And I think that's it. There's something else here. I'm choosing to know what it is. Is there anything else for them? No, the message is complete. That's your message for today. Okay, so, and in that, this is your invitation. If you'd like to work further with me, I highly recommend the Venus Cosmic Beauty Bar. It's going to be amazing. This is specifically for artists that desire to unleash their erotic and creative gifts on the world. It's a free series of event. It's going to be happening on the 1111 portal. Hello, gorgeous. Oh my gosh. How are you? I was just musing a bit about the illumination sessions and actually some spooky shit that just happened. Like, remember when I shared with you about getting hit on my bicycle on the eclipses, and then how on the next eclipse my bike got stolen? Well, I was just walking down the side of the street, and now we're in this new eclipse window, and what do I see but my bike just laying on the side of the road. There's some spooky stuff happening, man. I am not at liberty to share what's happening inside of the Mars Moxie container, but crazy, spooky, witchy stuff. I mean, even you know, I might even have to share about, because you and I have been, stuff's happening there. So I was sharing a bit about that, and then just some things about Venus in Scorpio on the South Node. No doubt the magic that's happening right now has a lot to do with that. Yeah, and then I was just, extending an invitation, sharing a bit more about what we're going to be journeying into, delving into how I work with mythos and for artists and creatives in the Venus Cosmic Beauty Bar on the 11th. And I have something really special for you guys should I share it with you? Yes, the Lovers Constellation. I'm going to be doing the Lovers Constellation. I'll be sharing more with you guys, a special offering and a way to work with me. I'll be introducing inside of the Venus Cosmic Beauty Bar. Yeah, you're having your nodal reversal. South. Yeah, see, you and I have like it switched. So I have the South Node in Scorpio and you have the North Node in Scorpio. Yeah, so right now Venus is exact on the South Node. So she's on the dragon's tail, which the dragon's tail it's K2. And what that does is it spiritualizes energy. So for example, like I look at it, when you die, what that is you are spiritualizing, meaning you're going from matter to back to the spirit world. That's what K2, that's what the South Node does. So anything that's touching K2 is literally spiritualizing it. It's literally taking your heart into the spiritual realms, into the other world, into the other side. So there's a lot. I mean, we're in Scorpio season. Anytime, especially that's what Samhain, what Halloween is about. It's where the veils are really, really thin. But now even more so because Venus, so it's where the veils are super, super thin in the realm of relationships, in the realm of art. So that's why I'm doing this Cosmic Beauty Bar. It's really about accessing the supernatural realms, the spiritual realms, and bringing that through in your art. I'm getting all the chill bumps right now. Yeah. But there's also a lot of loss. It's, because you're spiritualizing something. In order to spiritualize something, we have to let go of our material attachments, right? It's an invitation to let go of whatever we're clinging on to in the material world. So it could be a person that we're clinging on to. It could be a thing, like a physical thing. And this is why I feel that this bike, like it literally, this bike literally washed up on the shore for me. It was like the ocean took it out on that first eclipse. And then, oh no, I got hit by the car on it. And then it got taken away, and then now it got washed up again. Sacrifice the matter. Yes, exactly. And so it's like, it's asking us like to be in alignment. What are you sacrificing? What are you choosing to sacrifice to come into alignment? And so, because the truth is we're having a 3D experience on Earth, so you cannot do everything. You cannot do everything. There isn't time and space to do everything that you want. As much as, like when you transcend time and space, which that is a thing, you guys have heard me riff about that before, about, when you access the supernal triangle, which is above, then yes, you go beyond the limitations of time and space. But in a physical vessel, in a physical body, we came here to wield our magic in the world, in the material. So while we're operating here, we get to co-create with those physical laws of nature. And that to me is actually what magic is. Magic is about aligning with nature that allows you to alter your trajectory through life and honor karma, which is the law of love. So whenever we're feeling the limitations of karma, we're feeling the limitations of the 3D world, that actually is an expression of love. There's a lesson that we're here to get in that karma. So when you're feeling limited, you got to ask yourself, what's the lesson? I'm ready to get the lesson. Once I get the lesson, then the magic opens up for you. But there's a sacrifice. So, and a lot of people, and I know, like in the new age and in like law of attraction, it's like, oh, you don't have to sacrifice anything and you get to have everything that you want. And on some level, yeah, that's true. But if you are really here to bring your magic into the 3D, it does require certain sacrifices. So it's like, there's certain things that, meaning with Mars and Scorpio, right? Mars and Gemini. So the rule where the South Node is, that ruler being in Gemini wants to do everything. It's like, there's all these distractions. There's all of these options. I want to do this and I want to do there. And that's like all of these things to do. But are they actually a distraction if you go deeper into what is your deepest desire? Not what are the surface level desires that are, that would give you like a momentary, feeling of feeling better. But if you were to truly commit to something for the long game, the long game of your soul, the deepest desires of what you came here to be, means that we have to say no to a lot of things. You have to say no and be willing to sacrifice other things in order to submit to the deeper desires of your soul. Because you have to open space to the new. Right, exactly. Yeah, you got to make the space for it. You have to make the space for it. Yeah. So that's something that I have been myself reflecting deeper on, is, really coming into deeper alignment with, the path of my destiny and what I'm really here to do. What is the real deep work of my soul that I have really been doing my entire life. And every now and again I get pulled off, and and I'm always going to get something from those experiences. But really, like when it comes to my masterpiece, when it comes to what I am here to be a champion of, what I am here to be a master of, like what if I could be the best in the world at anything? If you could be the best in the world at anything, what would that be? And in every choice that you're presented with, to ask yourself, is this taking me closer to my goal, is this taking me closer to that thing? or further away? Is it a distraction, or is this something that is in alignment with me being the best at what I came here to be, at what I'm here to be excellent at? Ask yourself that question. And this is something that's going to be coming up more and more and more, because that's what Mars retrograde in Gemini is really asking you, is how are you using your energy? What are you using your precious energy? Because you only have there's these resources that you have. Like, yes, there is an abundance of, we are unlimited beings. That is the spiritual truth of who you are. But you are in a physical body. You are in a physical vessel, which means that you can burn yourself out by not using your energy appropriately, by not making choices and decisions, is not the best use of your energy. So when you ask yourself that, is this in a line? Is this so, this is what the eclipse is. This is why the eclipse is really, they align you radically if you do it, right? They align you with your destiny by asking yourself, so wherever your north node is, that's where your soul is hungry. It's the greatest path of your soul's growth and evolution. So by knowing the sign that your north node is in, ask yourself, like when you have a big decision to make, is this in alignment with that destiny, with where my north node is? Is it taking me closer to this or further away? So, yeah, and something that is helpful is if you know people that have planets in where your north node is. So for example, if you have the north node in Taurus, where are the people that have planets in Taurus? Because they're going to be leading you and showing you that. Or if you have the north node in Scorpio, who has planets in Scorpio that can lead you, because they're literally shining a light towards that. So wherever your personal north node and south node are, find the people that have the planets in those signs, because they are the sources of light that are aligning you towards that destiny. All right, guys, I love